Hey everybody, welcome to What's Up Wednesday. I don't know if any of you out there like to watch The Amazing Race, but I know that Melinda and I like to watch the show. I think we like to watch it for a couple of reasons. One, it's kind of a race where they travel all over the world to beautiful places. And number two, many of the conveniences or luxuries that we have on a daily basis are taken away. So as an example, the contestants don't have a cell phone with GPS navigation. If they're in a foreign country, they may have to drive a right-sided operated vehicle, and instead of an automatic transmission, they may have to drive a manual transmission. So it really makes you kind of think a little bit about what happens when luxuries are taken away. And I know that I grew up as a child in scouting, and both of my boys went through scouting, and the motto of Boy Scouts is be prepared. And I've always thought that it's important to be prepared for anything that might come up. And it got me thinking a little bit about something that we can talk about, which is what do you do when some of those luxury type of items or privileges are taken away and you're left with the basics? An example might be you're going to rely upon your cell phone for OSHA standards out on a project, and then you get to the project and there's no internet connectivity and you don't have access to any of those tools or resources. What do you do? I know that in days past we had 3-ring binders and we actually printed out the standards and we had them on a shelf. So when we think a little bit about what happens when something's taken away from us, whether it be technology, whether it be some kind of a luxury item, how do we handle that? What happens when our car breaks down on the road and we have to figure out where our spare tire is in our vehicle, our jack, and on the side of the road, the side of the freeway, we have to change a tire when we haven't maybe done that in 20 years. These are things to think about, because the reality is it only takes a minute and everything gets taken away. I know this last Friday night we had a windstorm and it took out all the power in the area, including all the cell towers. Therefore, we couldn't get on the internet to look up the phone number for PUD to call and report an outage. We couldn't get updates as far as what was going on or how long it might be. We were completely in the dark. And the reality is those types of situations make you think about what things you can do to be prepared for the inevitable events where all of these things we rely on, technology and otherwise, are taken away from us. So a little bit of planning can go a long ways. I know that when we're looking at winter travel, it's a good idea to always have an emergency kit with you, blankets, water, food. In the event that you go down the wrong road, you get stuck in the snow, you have a blowout, and you can't replace a tire, whatever it might be, you need to be prepared for those events, whatever it may be in life. And it's very common that we get caught up with all of the niceties and the luxuries that we have on a daily basis, and don't realize how important they are to us until they're not there. So let that one sink in. Think a little bit about it. What can you do to make sure you're prepared for those events when something changes or when you don't have something you rely on a daily basis? And how are you going to be successful? Think about that. We'll see you next Wednesday.